Mr. Gregg. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll ask for a consent agenda improvement.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion made and seconded to approve the agenda for today, minutes from January 20th. Board of Supervisors meeting, accounts payable. Budget sessions on January 19th, 23rd, and 26th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have no liquor license or beer license. Public comment. You have 3 minutes. Okay, Supervisors committee meeting updates.
Last week I was in Des Moines for 2 days for a ISAC Board of Directors meeting, and that was all I had last week.
Last week I had a Board of Adjustment meeting. 2 different things got approved. One was for a commercial dog kennel south of Malvern, near Clifford Scott's old property. And then the other one was a porta potty business here north of town, north of the Gaston Avenue. So it'll be interesting to watch. I don't believe the porta potty business, that process is done quite yet. Maybe an appeal or two. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. That's all I have.
The only thing I have is I attended ISAC along with Lonnie. We had so it was a reorganizational appointment of new officers, things like that for the organization. So okay, we'll move on to Mills County Engineer Jacob.
Okay. Just a couple general discussion items, update on the Snyder and Associates contract for the pipeline. Still pending that signature. Reached out to the pipeline. They're supposed to be supplying us with the document saying that they are going to in fact cover all the expenses. Then I'll send that to the attorney. I've reached out to him again. He said they're still working on it. That was as of Friday. So still kind of holding off on that. Second thing, just to update on the borrow pits, all the truck hauling up to the Google site. We had some good meetings last week, come after the board meeting. Greg sat in on some of those. Basically where we're at right now is we ordered traffic study to be done at both sites and between those sites up to the Google site. We've already gotten some preliminary kind of recommendations back from that, which includes adding some additional signing at the sites. I know what Joe with Corey Lakes, he's already reached out, confirmed with me. So he should be getting signs up probably as early as today for trucks entering ahead. Supposed to be on 275, 221st Street. So we also have the speed limit lowered down to 35 from Barris to the site. Construction signs that are advisory speed limit signs to kind of help slow down traffic. So different measures looking to input. Also a good thing is talking with the Google representative. He said he's open to future conversations when it comes to dealing with things like this and also potential damage recovery to some of these roads if they weren't built designed for these types of homes. So he was very receptive, right? Very cooperative. So look forward to working with him. Last thing, we got our 2026 prices for rock. So to kind of give you guys a little update. It was $17 a ton. It went up to $18.25 a ton for road rock. We use about 70,000 tons of rock per year is what we estimate. So basically, it's gone up $88,000 for a rock budget in order to stay the same. Or if we didn't use the rock budget, then it equates to about 10 miles of rock. 10 miles of road that cannot be rocked because of that price increase. Look back, half the prices for every year, just looking back 5 years, price was $12.90 a ton, 2021. So an increase of about $375,000 a year, not per year up to, but from then till now, it's a $375,000 difference to be able to do the exact same length of roads. So it kind of just gives you a little insight of, that's just rock that we see price increases on. And of course, we see it on equipment, parts, and all sorts of things. Other than that, any questions for me? Comments?
I have none.
All right, thank you.
Jacob, see you.
Okay, next on the agenda is update on advisory council's findings and recommendations. EMF. You can bring anybody you want with you. You don't have a
Guys,
quorum.
grab some chairs and roll them on up if you need to.
Morning Supervisors, my name is George. Yeah, we're not. My name is Joe George. I am the city administrator clerk of the city of Malvern. I also serve as the chair of the Emergency Medical Services System Advisory Council. That board was created by you guys. We were appointed to look at a few things, make recommendations. So under Iowa Code, Chapter 422, there is a section of the code that deems EMS an essential service. So part of our formation is to provide you guys with a report that says what the current state of EMS is in Mills County, and to make recommendations on how to ensure that we can provide EMS in the future. So Scott is going to start out. What you guys have in front of you, the top 3 documents are what we'll go over today. And then the larger 15-page document is our final report for you guys. We're just going to hit the highlights. And then you guys can read the remainder of the report as you see fit. So Scott, if you want to take over.
Morning, I'm Scott Eames. I am a volunteer paramedic with Supervisors Rescue. Teach EMS at Iowa Western, Iowa Western Community College, and what I have in front of you is a summary of what's in the larger document. It's the qualifications and certification levels of the department. Important to note that this is all governed by legislation. So Iowa code determines that there are 4 levels. This is a national thing that Iowa recognizes the 4 national levels of provider certification. EMR, EMT, and paramedic, you see those, a brief summary of what's there. The reason I bring that up is you see the prices there, the time investment, as well as the prices on average for an EMS training program. Those are averages here for what we. Some of them are much more, some of them are less. But in general, the reason I bring up the legislation is that this is not a volunteer or a paid thing. It doesn't matter if you're a volunteer serving 20 hours or a year on Silver City Rescue, or if you're a Council Bluffs firefighter, Des Moines firefighter. You have to have the same legal certification from the state and national level. So just providing that for you to look through to what we have. The EMT level is by far the largest number that we have of numbers of providers. Even within the county here, But that doesn't preclude us from having to provide the highest level of care that we possibly can for the citizens of the county. And as you see, that comes with a price tag.
John, I'm gonna go with the county map.
Here. Good morning, everyone. John Stacy, I'm with the Oak Township Fire Department, also EMS Chief for Silver City. And I've been asked to draw your attention to the colored map that Joe has provided to you. Top map was the EMS service districts 5 years ago. The bottom map is the current EMS service districts. If you'll notice, the blue on the extreme right-hand side, that's the Emerson district. They do not have a transport squad, so they rely on other to provide transport. What this says is each of those districts is responsible for about 150 square miles. Once one service goes down, then they're responsible for 300 square miles. It's becoming unacceptable to drive 20 to 25 miles to get to a patient. And sometimes our round trips, we have to go into Omaha, is around 100 miles. That's 2.5, 3 hours. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but understand that the people that are doing this right now are doing it because they want to do it. I hate to see this train coming down the tracks and say, now we're in panic mode. Now we have to do something to take care of our EMS services. Now we're behind the curve, so we're going to have to be really stretching to get somebody to come in and do this job. That's a situation I don't think we want to be in. I think the steps that Joe's presented to you is a way to step forward one step at a time instead of all of a sudden we're in panic mode and we have to how we're going to do this. But the increase in the size of the districts has caused us a lot of issues with our ambulances, putting them on these county roads. No offense to Jacob, but they are getting beat up pretty bad on these roads, and the maintenance on the squads are astronomical. We just priced a new squad, it's $400,000. There's no way we could ever afford that. So we're just, again, this whole program is here to help solidify what we have and then move forward. So I'll turn it back to Jim.
Matt's gonna talk a little bit about the state of EMS in the county.
State of EMS in the county, current staffing levels are basically at a critical level and maybe unable to meet the needs of requiring emergency medical services. Majority of the departments average age is 60 years plus, which will cause staffing issues as these responders retire from service or have to leave because of medical issues. Basically, due to challenges within the lifestyles within the area, it's not like it was 30, 40 years ago where everybody lived in town or lived in the county and were on these departments. It's getting harder and harder to find people to volunteer. Linwood had to make the step and hire full-time people in 2023 to be able to staff for calls during the day and even during the night, because at 3 o'clock in the morning, nobody wants to get out of bed. It's just one of those things that with people's work styles now, jobs are requiring more and more out of people. A lot of them don't particularly like it when you leave for answer emergency calls. So staffing is becoming a really, really big issue, as well as there's training requirements everybody has to meet. As Scott mentioned, there's even after you get those certifications, you have to go back in, and there's every 2 years you have to have CEUs to renew your license. On top of keeping CPR current, your hazmat, all those other things that run into that are basically people just don't have the time to do it on a volunteer basis. Eventually down the road, you go to these volunteer meetings and you look 5, 10 years down the road, how many of them are actually going to be there? How many of them are they going to be able to retain? And how many new people are they going to recruit? It's getting harder and harder. Call volume is going to continue to go up. We're seeing more multi-generational family housing with people having grandma, brothers, sisters living with them. And as we see that, you're seeing increased call volumes because people have medical conditions. We're one of the few counties in Iowa that does not have a hospital. So our transport times when you go out of service could be 30 to 40 minutes, up to an hour that these people are out of service. So when the next call comes in, We may have to rely on Glenwood, we may have to rely on Silver City to come in and cover one of our calls because we're on the transport. So those are some things that basically just with staffing that becomes an issue. Also, your equipment, as John mentioned, equipment, Glenwood just bought a brand new ambulance this past year, 398,000 total cost on that ambulance. I'm putting between, on all three of my ambulances that I have, and I rotate them by shifts. So there's a 4-day break. When one shift goes on, there 4 days, there's a 4-day span that ambulance is at. I'm putting close to 10,000 miles on each ambulance every year. Not in count, this is miles. Maintenance and fuel is another issue. The equipment on the ambulances, we have cardiac monitors on the ambulance. We have to have those for advanced level if we're giving somebody cardiac meds. Those cardiac monitors right now are $70,000 a piece, brand new. Every year, our medical equipment gets recertified. That's another $2,500 to $3,000 a year that they go through. They recertify our cardiac monitors, our cots, any of our meters, monitors, and everything that we have. They come in and say, yes, this is adequate for what you're doing. And they certify it just like they do when you go to the doctor's offices or the hospitals when they have medical equipment. So just maintenance, equipment, everything on top of technology, reporting systems, they cost money. Luckily, the state of Iowa actually pays for a reporting system. But when you're talking about some other things that we do have to have for the equipment and the technology that we run on the ambulances, that becomes pricey. It's just between staffing and equipment costs and what we get off of donations and then what we get off of budgets sometimes isn't enough to fund that department to be able to run. Staffing full-time is hard too, because you can't predict how many calls you're gonna get in one day. Glenwood, we could have one day where we go 0, the next day we're gonna get 8 within 2 hours. So it's just one of those things that something you can't really predict for staffing wise. You just got to have the people there. It's not acceptable for any of our people in Mills County or the city of Glenwood to have to wait 30 minutes for an ambulance. That care should be there for them. When you're waiting 30 minutes and you're having a heart attack for an ambulance to arrive, I hate to say, but you're probably not going to make it. So those are just things, because as soon as that ambulance arrives, we still have a 30-minute transport. So we are very little different than a lot of these other agencies when it comes to transport times. And since we don't have a hospital, that kind of puts us even further under the gun. So we're very in a kind of a critical situation right now.
Do you want to talk about insurance reimbursements?
Insurance reimbursements, when you're looking at all of us use a billing company and they bill per the Medicare standards. When you're looking at insurance companies, you could bill a $2,500 bill, but once they do what they're called write-offs, where we don't receive that money, it's just a write-off. That could be $2,500. You can turn around, walk away with the ambulance bill of $33.87. You're looking off of what you bill, you could get possibly anywhere from 40 to 45% back off of what you bill. It's not a moneymaker. It's just a supplemental. You can bring it in. A lot of that is when they set the rates for ambulance reimbursements, this is going on nationally. It's always been lower than what it should be. When you're talking about replacing equipment, the staff, and then the maintenance of the vehicles, you're looking, like I said, 40 to 45% of what you bill, you're getting back. Sometimes not even that. It just kind of, a lot of the insurance companies seem to pay what they want to pay, and that's just what you have to take. And that's, like I said, $2,500 bill the other day with a $2,500 bill where it was a critical patient. We did X, Y, and Z, and we got $33.87 for that bill from Medicare.
Didn't pay for the gas.
No. So there are things that if you are a government agency, you can apply for ground emergency transport write-off money. And you can get that back. We are in the process of doing that. Sometimes that can bring in a little bit of more revenue than what you were getting. Because you'll get some of the write-off, but you don't get the full write-off, but you may get a percentage more of write-off money that you get from Medicaid. So insurance billing does, I mean, it helps, but it's not a foolproof thing. You're not gonna get 100%. Back in the day, you were getting 70, 80%, so it's a lot better now. It keeps dropping.
So the strategies for stabilizing and improving EMS service and income. So there needs to be an increase in funding to keep even the current model of EMS in the county going. With additional funding, the plan would be to upgrade and enhance apparatus and equipment. We prioritize equipment or budgets, how to properly equip, maintain, and improve the capability of us in the county. Because we know that when these guys go out on a call, they can hook someone up to a cardiac monitor. That monitor is sitting as a person who lives in Mills County. You want to make sure that that hospital is ready to treat you when you get there, right? With hooking our ambulances to make sure that we have the capabilities of 21st century medicine. Improve staffing. That is not only full-time staffing, that is to provide training. So that there are not so many out-of-pocket expenditures for each of these departments. And then eventually that could move into models of full-time EMS in the county to alleviate some of that staffing issue. And then to prioritize funding for items allowed under chapter 422D as the law allows. So you can see a list in that report. I'm not going to read it for you, but so what is the ask for funding? So there are two options for funding under the law. You guys have a breakdown. It's that third sheet that I handed out. So there is an ad valorem property tax and there is an income surtax that allows. The property tax is exactly what we've all been having conversations about, right? It is additional property tax on your property. So in Mills County for FY26, the property valuations as a total were $1.3 billion. And so there's a breakdown of projected revenue by different percentages of that law. So the law allows for up to 75 cents per $1,000 valuation. I think it's important to focus on that up to. So the law allows the Board of Supervisors to ask the public on a ballot initiative for up to 75 cents. That does not mean that you would have to tack every year. Based on the need, that could ebb and flow like any of your other tax levy. And so there's a listing year of 15 cents per thousand all the way up to 75 cents per thousand. So at 15 cents per thousand, we're looking at just over $200,000 in revenue. And at the full 75 cents per thousand, it's just over $1 million. And so what does this mean for a property in Mills County? So at 15 cents per thousand, someone owning a $210,000 house, they would pay $15 per year or $1.25 per month. At the 75 cents for someone owning a $210,000 house, that would be $75 a year or $6.25 a month. The reason that $210,000 is in there is because the difference between assessed valuation and taxable valuation. So this number does not apply the rollback. I think when we talk to the public, there is an understanding that you're taxed on 100% of the valuation of your property. For the most previous year, it was 47% of your home's value, right? So I didn't want to put in here that at $100,000 you were getting this much, because a lot of people don't understand that you have to apply the rollback. So those numbers are based on the assessed valuation of a home, not the taxable valuation. The rollback is not applied in that. So on the back side of that paper, you can see the local income surtax. This is also a portion of the law that is a little misleading. So when you see 1% of an income surtax, you would think you're getting taxed 1% of your income. Well, the income surtax is only based on the currently set Iowa income tax. So that is $3.80, or 3.8% of your income. So if you make $100,000, that your Iowa state income tax would be 3,800. If you apply the income surtax of up to 1%, that would be $38 per year. So definitely different than 1% of a full income of $100,000. So based on those numbers, the Iowa Department of Revenue only has data up to 2023. So those are the numbers that we gave you in this report. The income surtax base is just under $11 million. And you can see different breakdowns of at each level what that income surtax would look like for revenue yield. So the final recommendation of the EMS Systems Advisory Council would be a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors to move forward with a ballot initiative of up to 75 cents per $1,000 valuation. If the law were to pass, the request would be that the EMS trust fund that is funded be under the authority of the EMS Systems Advisory Council. That recommendation is there because the EMS Systems Advisory Council is appointed by you, but in current form, it's largely made up of only each of the EMS districts in the county. So them being the closest to this would be the entity that I would to oversee those funds. It would be an annual recommendation to the Board of Supervisors for those expenditures as well. So you would have final control over any of the EMS funding. Right. You guys have any questions for us?
Thank you.
Could you repeat we can't hear, so what's the recommendation?
The recommendation would be for the Board of Supervisors to move forward with a ballot initiative at up to 75 cents per $1,000 valuation.
And that would go to the people to vote on.
Correct.
And for $100,000 house, that's,
So at a $210,000 house, that would be $75 per year. So at
and
$100
that's for EMS stuff,
for EMS only,
and that's an increase.
property tax increase.
So if my house is 400 grand, which you raise it at, I build it for 80, it's not worth 400 apparently. I pay $150 more per year just for EMS.
Correct.
Obviously, in a rural county, fire and EMS is a struggling issue, just like it is in any other county in the state of Iowa. When you look at, I had the pleasure of going over to the soup dinner in Oak Township not too long ago and talking with them. I live in Henderson. They had 2 calls. I think it was the day previous to Henderson. And was it for you guys to get to Henderson?
Of 22 miles.
About 22 miles. And that was 2 calls in just a single day. Macedonia's gone. They got burnt out. So they put the keys in the engine, they walked away. EMS isn't required by state law. Nothing in state law says a city or a county has to provide EMS. It is essential that we do. So I appreciate you guys doing your homework on this. I think, obviously, as you guys know, it's probably going to be a little bit of an uphill battle to get it passed. So I hope all of you guys are willing to help come out and get support for the initiative so that it gets 60%. Just make sure that the public is aware that, without this funding, EMS could go away. And once it goes away, we have no options. It's not like we're required to do it. If it goes away because we don't have funding, it goes away. That's just how it is. So thank you guys for your work.
Any other questions for us? Take your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, appreciate it.
Yo, congratulations.
Next on our agenda is discuss possible and formal action in reference to CNF Advisory Council recommendation. I think we've sat here, we've listened to this. I've been through this a couple times with them. What they're asking for is for the people to take care of their people. I don't like the idea of putting a tax on for this, but I don't see any other way of affordable care for the people. Our volunteerism has went to zero. Ones that are left are very dedicated. There's just nobody young that wants to step in and do this. And if you look at what it costs for training and stuff, it's just not feasible. The amount of money you have to put out yourself, you know, to become an EMT. And if you're going to, you might as well be an EMT full-time someplace else. Well, that may not allow you to be the volunteer you thought you could be. There's many ups and downs on this, but I believe it's something that is essential for the county. What do you guys think?
I would make the motion to move forward with this and let the public decide.
Second that.
You said to be allowed to put on the ballot, right?
Yes.
Do we need to put the 75 cents thing in there?
Recommended language from.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
there's gonna be a lot more stuff in there. I mean, we're gonna have to, I'm sure there's more action items to come.
Many.
So just move forward with the initiative to put it on the ballot for people to vote, and then I'll get with Joe to kind of see what next steps are.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to allow this to be put on the ballot this fall. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Sayers,
Aye.
Crouch,
Aye,
Mayberry.
Yes.
thank you, gentlemen. Thanks to all of you. We appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. I'll be in touch, Joe.
Okay, Lance, we're ready for you guys.
Good.
Wonderful.
I've got the formal version of my request and pretty version. We can make a little. My name is Anne Remington. My colleague Lance Bridboy. We are Reserve Conservation Development. We are very fortunate to have Mr. Sayers here on our board of directors. And we're here this morning to request $15,000 in operational funding. But we would gratefully receive whatever the county is willing to allot to Golden Hills. Golden Hills has worked collaboratively with the counties and communities in Southwest Iowa to lead community conservation. In Mills County since 1981.
We can't hear.
Previously, we were previously a government agency funded by the USDA until 2011. 2011, that funding was cut, and so we pivoted to being a 501c3. And thus, we are now an organization that we go around and sing for our supper, so to speak. If you flip open to, I apologize for this strange print job. Didn't realize it till last night. This is a more formal list of the type of projects that we've worked on in Mills County in recent years. The reason that we're requesting operating funding is so that we can be flexible and responsive in being able to support the different projects and initiatives such as these. I'm going to go through now the kind of prettier version here where I pulled out some of the highlights. So you can kind of see on the third page the footprint of where we work in Southwest Iowa. Mills County is one of our more active counties that we work in. My understanding is that historically Mills and the other counties that we've worked in have supported Golden Hills with operational funding, and that dropped off in recent years due to a leadership transition. Some of the projects that we work on are water resources projects. We are the lead partner in the region for the RCPP program, which is a cost sharing program with landowners who have land in the west or east Nishnabotna watersheds. And those are projects to increase flood resiliency and manage soil erosion control. We also coordinate the east and west Nishnabotna watershed management coalitions. And we also have worked with Mills County in the past to help coordinate the 5-year plan for the Soil and Water Conservation District. If you have any specific questions about water resources, Lance is very knowledgeable about that. For outdoor rec and tourism, we worked with Mills County Trails to develop their dormant project, the dormant plans in 2025. We've also provided coordination and support to build trails throughout the county, and including the Wabash Trace Trail, which is a very popular outdoor recreation destination, as you know. We've also worked with the Les Hills, Missouri River region to coordinate the parks development plan, including some new cabins at Pony Creek, Glenwood, and different enhancements of local parks. We've worked with the Wabash Trace Corridor and the Green Hill Wildlife Area and the Lewis and Clark Trail as well. We also raised funding in recent years to install interpretive panels at the southern Les Hills trailhead. As far as arts and culture, we previously coordinated the Southwest Iowa Art Tour, and potentially in conversation to get back into that. We stopped doing it in 2023 through 2025, but have sort of re-entered that conversation. We also raised funding in 2024, $10,000 for the Glenwood mural at City Hall. And then we also just have a history of supporting local artists. Last year, for instance, we supported Anna Stoysich by promoting her work at one of our events and featuring her pottery and pairing that with local foods. And on the last page, we have a little bit more information about our footprint with local foods here in Mills County, including we just launched a new website that connects consumers directly to local producers, which is really cool. If you want apples from whatever the nearby provider is, you can go find that producer. There's an interactive map. So we have several producers in Mills County. Our local foods coordinator hosts farmer meetups in Mills County, sometimes in Malvern. We also have co-hosted the Southwest Iowa Local Food Summit in Malvern with the Center for Rural Affairs. And then our underserved farmer program helps provide education and cost sharing for regenerative agriculture practices. Back page, here's our contact information. My email is missing for some reason, but it's the same format as the others, angie.remington@goldenhillsrct.org. So again, we grateful for whatever the county is going to allocate so that we in partnership with you and whatever new projects may arise as well.
I just want to add, Angie's kind of new in her role, but she's done an exceptional job at really revitalizing Golden Hill. She's done a really good job. And then on another point, Lance is a big reason why the Trails Committee got started up again. Our trails are one of the most popular things in Mills County for recreation. We get a lot of people who come into our community for our trails. Just think about how much money it's boosted Malvern's local economy. How many people come in and stay at the Airbnbs, or to go to the farmer's market, or eat out at Classic or the Salty Heifer. So they're really supporting our community, and I'd like to see us at some point down the line. I believe we're going through our local option sales tax funding maybe next week or the week after, sometime soon. And so I'd like to consider you guys at that time. Yeah.
What did we, I give you last year?
Last time.
In a couple of years.
Yeah.
And what does Potawatomi County give you?
20. And I've requested 15 from here. Well, those are the 3 counties that we're the most active in.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Guys will be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Schultz.
Morning. I don't have a whole lot for you this morning. My notes here quick. Just want to follow up, last time we had the emergency management commission meeting. That went well. We did approve their budget as presented by Travis. That went well. I think Travis has laid things out pretty good for us again. He always has it very smart way. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. There's an event that's being planned for tomorrow afternoon in Glenwood. Chief Johansson and Director Travis and myself are working together to try and make sure that we have a handle on what's going on. It's an ice out event. Not really sure what to expect, numbers to expect yet. Chief Johansson's working with the organizers to try and get a little bit better idea what's going on. Reaching out to other partners throughout Southwest Iowa in the event that it turns into something bigger than what we intend, hope, or if it ends up routing. But just to give you a heads up, there is something planned for tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. It's gonna be right in Sharp and Locust. So I'll keep you in the loop. If I email something out to give you a better idea, do I have to do that individually, or can I send it to all three of you if I don't ask for anything other than just to give you an update?
PCC,
Huh?
blank copy,
Gotcha. Understood. Okay. So I'll keep you in the loop as best I can. Hopefully we'll know more. We have a meeting set for this afternoon with a couple of our state partners. Well, I'm sure we'll have a couple of different meetings throughout the day tomorrow in advance of the project itself. So just so you're aware.
One question.
Sure.
My granddaughter walks to school downtown on Wednesday afternoon. And I mentioned this. He says, well, Papa, we'll just go a different route.
Well, my understanding is tomorrow early out.
yes.
Right.
Yep. So this is 3:30 to 5:30. We should avoid, should avoid that because somebody else asked me that question last night. And I said it should be done. I do. School kids should be through.
Yeah.
Yep. But our intention, and talking to Chief Johansson, is we intend to have a presence very close to the event. So in the event something does happen or we have concern for the general public, then we'll make adjustments accordingly. Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you,
Thank
Sheriff.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Auditor and Amber Farnham. Consideration formal action resolution 2605. Certificate of appointment of commissioner to the Housing Authority of County of Mills.
So I reached out to Linda Goose and she agreed to serve another term for Surha. And Surha would like a resolution. So this is a resolution to kind of formalize her appointment to that board. And her appointment, I believe, starts in April.
Make the motion to approve resolution 26-05.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion made and seconded to approve resolution 26-05. Certifying that Linda Goose is our housing authority person. Any questions?
Good discussion. How long is this term? Is this an annual term?
I think it's 3 years.
3 years? Okay, thank you.
Should be 3 years.
Yeah, and it, like I said, it starts in April. Or restarts. She's already appointed, so. her
Sure.
reappointment will start.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Not all those in favor? Aye.
Roll call
Roll call.
resolution.
Aye. Yes, roll call. Sorry.
Crouch,
Yes.
Mayberry,
Yes.
Sayers.
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is consider formal action. Reference resolution 2506, approving transfers of low to moderate income housing funds.
So I went through the two active TIF funds that we have, which is Woodfield and Ohana. And I went back and found what would have been the low to moderate income amounts for each of those TIF areas and requesting them to be moved into an LMI set aside account for each project. And then my plan going forward to keep us, because it's supposed to be set aside into a separate fund. So this gets us back on track. And then in July of every year, then we'll move the money again from the TIF collection fund to the LMI fund at the beginning of each year for the previous year. So right now in Woodfield, I requesting to move $208,816 to the LMI set aside account for Woodfield. For Ohana, I'm asking to set aside $387,112. And I have in your package showing that we have those amounts in our fund for those, and I'll just move it into a sub fund. So that way, when we get together, we'll have to create an LMI plan, which I'll have to work with our attorneys with. Once we have that, then we can have a process of how developers in the county can use that money to then service that LMI housing projects or different items in the county. This is just moving the money that should have been moved before and gets us kind of back in compliance with the TIF laws. And it'll make our auditor very happy.
Correction on the agenda, this is for Resolution 2506,
Oh.
it should be 2606.
Yep, it should be 2606.
I would make the motion to,
Is there any discussion on this?
there will be. I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2606 regarding approving the transfers to LMI housing funds.
Second.
Got a motion made and seconded to transfer funds to a single account, right?
No, it'll go each
One,
TIF will have its own LMI sub fund.
And then we come up with a plan after however long with the attorneys to figure out where we can.
Yeah, because once we have a plan, then developers and then we can have people apply for the funds once we have a plan on how to spend them.
And the specifics on what it can be used for. Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
But this just starts that process and then also separates those monies so that they don't inadvertently get spent somewhere else where they're not supposed to be spent.
any other questions? Roll call.
If anybody, I have the impression that you're just kind of catching up on this, that in the past, this is for 2 TIFs, right? How many TIFs previous to this have there been and where's that money?
The other TIF we had was not a housing development, so LMI did not qualify.
So there's no, in the history of Mills County, there's only 2.
I went back to the ones I'm aware of. I did not go back.
Well, I know, but like, are there others that have not ever been?
As far as I can tell, there's no funds sitting out there with money sitting in them.
Okay, now you're telling me in all the history, going back 10, 20 years of TIFs, this apparently has been in place for a long time, right? I mean, does anybody really know about this too much? Because you guys are new and I don't expect you to, I mean, you guys are all, you don't have to deal with this, but my interest in this was peaked when we use, the urban renewal, moniker to do this. And I'm just wondering through the years, certainly, how many TIFs have there been over like the past 10 years?
This actually goes way back to the early 2000s when I've looked at. So I have Woodfield
20 years
phase
here.
1 and 2.
So there's only been 3 TIFs in 20 years?
I'm aware of.
Yeah, I haven't found any other funds.
Okay, you say there's how much, 200 and some grand?
And this is a conversation we can have later. If you want to email me or stop by my office, I'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one about it.
Well, this is discussion for
It's
this.
supposed to be a discussion between the board members, actually.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm requesting as a county citizen, a meeting of whoever it is, and you can call it whatever you want, but I would like to know historically how this works. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it now, that's fine. But I got a feeling that people don't really have a handle on this, because I just heard you say that you're out of compliance. Is that
Right.
true?
Yes, and that
Okay,
is.
right now you're out of compliance.
Right, and that's.
So I'm requesting, you guys can do it, I'll leave. I want to know, I asked when this thing came up, when the urban renewal thing came up, I've asked Jack Sayers twice. I asked him to ask you, and I want to get a handle on this. I want to know, I've tried to do my own research, it's very murky. I want to know if there's funds that have been before and where they went. I want to know how this 208 is computed. I want to know how it's going to be used. I want to know who can use it, under what conditions. I want to know what low and moderate income housing is and define.
Okay. Thank you. Time's up.
So you vote on your thing and then you tell me what you can do.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to put the funds where they belong, have our own. I'll make housing funds, okay. Roll call,
Mayberry,
Yes.
Crouch,
yes.
Sayers.
Aye.
Soil and water commission annual report.
Good morning. Come on, Bob. Get on up here. You get the handouts for it? Pass it down. Okay. Remember? There you go. Thank you. So I am Dustin Brake. I am the district conservationist in Mills County with the Natural Resources Conservation Service. Just a recap of what happened in the county in fiscal year 2025 through the Iowa Department of Agriculture Division of Soil and Water Conservation District. We had 5 terrace applications and 24 cover crop applications that were paid on. It was a total of $175,000. 28,720 feet of terraces put in the county, and 5,314 acres of cover crops were planted. With the IDALS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, the Environmental Quality Initiative Program had 5 contracts. Conservation Stewardship Program had 17 contracts. Total payments made of almost 175,000 as well. Some other practices that we installed and paid on. We had some livestock watering system and fencing, high tunnel, cover crops, conservation cover, grassland conservation initiative, grazing management, critical area planning, and prescribed burn. The second handout is a highlight of the West Nishnabotna accomplishments. So we worked with Golden Hills through the RCPP program. For cover crop, the goal was 20,000 acres. We planned 29,500 acres amongst 75 producers. 23,474 plus acres were applied in the year, and there was almost 1,200 applied through federal programs. Terrace jobs, we had 14 planned through RCPP state, and we had 4 jobs carried over from the previous year, with 94,652 feet installed throughout those programs. We had 1 water basin installed and 1 waterway that was 9,402 feet installed. And on the back, it just kind of gives you an overview of the West Nishnabotna watershed, and you can see the majority of Mills County is sitting in that watershed. Is this project still moving? Yes. Okay. We actually have quite a few applications this year for it. Good. I think we have 5 sitting on my desk.
I got a question. When you say high tunnel, what do you mean when you say high tunnel?
So that's essentially a greenhouse. It's just our term for it.
Okay.
It's a high tunnel. Just an overview or outlook for 2026. I have about 35 applications through EQIP, CSP, and RCPP sitting on my desk right now, getting ready for ranking to hopefully be selected for funding. So we had kind of a rough start to the year with the shutdown and finally catching back up. So any other questions? That's
Okay, sorry.
Dustin Brake, B-R-A-K-E.
And yours.
Paul Hathaway, I'm a member of the Soil Water Conservation District Board. On behalf of that board, we'd like to express our appreciation of your past allocation of funding for our district, and hope you can see benefit to that investment, and if you can see you look forward to making that allocation again in the future.
What do we typically fund you?
7,000.
7,000. I don't have any questions.
No, thank you for the report. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys.
Amazing what gets done.
Thank you.
Anyone have any new business to bring before the board at this time?
I do not.
Make a motion to adjourn at 9:10.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn at 9:10. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen.
What are your question, John?